Born and raised on a McMinnville farm in 1950, Dennis Draper loved playing sports at a young age. As a standout Babe Ruth baseball player, the left-hander developed his pitching arm into one of the best in the state for his age. In high school, Denny was a three-sport athlete, lettering in football all 3 years and in basketball and baseball twice. By his junior football season, Draper moved into the starting lineup as a defensive safety while being the backup running back. Dennis showed no fear as he would light up his opponents with some of the hardest-hitting tackles McMinnville has ever seen.
He's one of possibly 2 kids that I coached over 35 years or 34 years. One of the toughest kids I've ever coached. When he was in the 9th grade, we had to make sure that when we scrimmaged, that either we had a jersey, a different colored jersey on one of the players, or we had talked to Denny not to hit too hard on the kids that we're playing against because the kids would fear him.
The story goes with Denny, pound for pound, the toughest athlete ever to play at McMinnville High School. He was a very quiet person, unassuming until he got on the court or the field.
He was an amazing hitter. The guy had an ability to get below anybody else and go through them. He didn't go around many people. He loved to hit. And
he hit a couple kids in the 9th grade in football that the coaches from the other team were absolutely in disbelief. This kid could be a 9th grader. He had absolutely no fear.
Denny Draper would just straighten a person up and stop him immediately, and it was really impressive. It made watching defensive football really interesting with Denny.
That was his demeanor, that was his attitude. You might beat me, but you're going to have to really fight to beat me. And I've always admired him for that. He's always been a very special kid in my background of coaching, just because of his demeanor and the way he went about participating and how coachable he was.
He went on to achieve all-league honorable mention on defense and the team MVP award for a junior as the Grizzlies captured the league title. Unfortunately, the Bears lost a tightly contested quarterfinal game to South Salem, the number 1 ranked team. Denny then focused on his first year of varsity basketball as he saw a lot of playing time while competing at the forward spot. The team finished the season 4 games over 500 and with big wins over St. Helens, North Salem, and a number 2 ranked Sunset team. His junior baseball season went very well as Dennis was developing his skills as one of the team's better pitchers while also becoming one of the Bears' best hitters. He achieved an all-league honorable mention selection and won several games for the Bears as the team took 2nd place in league. With a great year's worth of experience under his belt, Draper entered his senior football season as the undisputed team leader.
as far as his leadership abilities, I think everybody just naturally followed. And I'm a better person for playing with him. The guy was a great ball player.
He was now the starting running back and was the focal point of the Grizzlies' attack, both offensively and defensively.
Without a doubt, the best football player in the state when he was a senior. And of course, defensively, when the teams would scout Denny, they wouldn't run his way. I mean, that's quite a respect from your opponent when they knew if the first thing they would look for is to see where Denny Draper was on the field.
Denny had a perfect season, winning the league's scoring title as well as the most inspirational and most valuable player awards on the team. He earned all-league first team and all-state first team selections for both offense and defense while achieving All-American honorable mention honors. He capped off his high school football career by being chosen to play in the Oregon All-Star Shrine Game and by leading the Grizzlies to a perfect 9-0 regular season, winning their 4th straight league championship and the 3rd under Dennis. In the playoffs, the Bears competed well, but unfortunately suffered their first loss of the season again at the hands of South Salem by only a touchdown. The Grizzlies were not projected to do so well in Denny's senior basketball season, but Draper, who was now a starter, helped lead the team to a respectable 500 season. Dennis was the Bears' second leading scorer with over 11 per game, but was the team's leader in rebounds with 9 a game and field goal percentage with an average of just under 50%. He finished his basketball playing days by taking home all-league honorable mention selection. Draper continued his outstanding leadership and play in his final baseball season. He became one of the very best pitchers in the state, averaging almost 15 strikeouts per game, while pitching for 10 out of the Grizzlies' 11 wins. The Bears went 11-2 that season, which was again good enough for second place in league, while Denny also led the team in hitting with a batting average of .375. He achieved an ERA of 1.16 and earned all-league first team as well as all-state first team honors. He played in the state All-Star Baseball Series, and journalists considered Draper to be one of the top left-handed pitchers to ever come out of our league. Upon finishing an incredible senior year, Dennis graduated from Mack High in 1968 and received a full athletic scholarship to play both football and baseball at Oregon State University. However, Denny chose to direct all of his efforts on only one sport, the one he was most passionate about, football.
People remember Dennis for football because he's an outstanding football player, but people forget Dennis was also an all-state pitcher in baseball and was a winning pitcher in one of the games in the State Metro All-Star Series when he was a senior in high school. Had he chosen to do so, I'm sure he could have pitched at Oregon State also in baseball.
His focus and hard work paid off as he was the standout player on OSU's freshman squad, winning the team's Rookie of the Year award. In Draper's sophomore season, he saw a lot of playing time at the varsity level, filling in nicely on defense as a reserve cornerback and safety. The majority of his minutes were spent on the special teams like kickoff, kick return, punt return, and he also held the long snaps for field goals and extra point kicks. The season went well as Dennis contributed on one of the best defensive squads that OSU has ever had, and the Beavers finished with a record of 6 wins and 4 losses. Denny was moved into the starting lineup on defense for his junior football season and proved that he was worthy of the honor by leading the team in pass interceptions with 5. The Beavers had a tough schedule that year with 5 of their 11 games against teams that were ranked in the top 20 in the nation. They competed well in each of those games and came up with a big road victory against number 14 ranked Oklahoma 23-14 as they finished the season above 500. Draper ended the year with a great performance in the Civil War game victory, earning him the Defensive MVP award. Dennis would have his best individual season at OSU as a senior, again leading the team in pass interceptions with 5. Unfortunately, the team would go on to lose 3 games by a touchdown or less as they finished the season with 1 more loss than victory. Their biggest win of the year came against an 11th ranked Arizona State team, which was the highest ranked team the Beavers played that season. Dennis had perhaps his best game at Oregon State when he led the team in tackles, picked off 2 interceptions, recovered a fumble, as well as making the game-saving tackle in the closing seconds. Fittingly, Draper ended his Oregon State playing career with another Civil War victory at Oregon and another Defensive MVP of the Game award, which was the 7th for his career. The victory was made more impressive by the fact that Oregon had future NFL talents like Dan Fouts and Ahmad Rashad leading the team. At the time, Dennis retired with the 5th most career pass interceptions, and he still has the 11th best career total in school history. Overall, Denny is a part of 9 top 10 defensive team records currently held at Oregon State University. In 1972, Draper continued his passionate pursuit of football by taking an assistant coaching position on the Beavers freshman team. Dennis led all receiver drills on top of helping out with the defensive backs. But Denny missed playing, so the following year he contacted several NFL teams in order to obtain a tryout. He was eventually signed as a defensive cornerback by the Wisconsin Delvin Red Devils of the Central States Football League, a minor league affiliate of the Buffalo Bills. Now in the best shape of his life, Draper had an outstanding year and was invited to Buffalo's tryout the following season. Denny had a successful tryout and remained on the roster through the preseason, but when the team made a trade for some veteran players, Dennis was unfortunately released. So he finished out the 1974 season playing for the Chicago Fire and Delvin Red Devils in the newly constructed World Football League. The next season, Denny remained in the WFL but returned home and played for the Portland Thunder. He started at strong safety and had another good year, but to everyone's dismay, the World Football League could not financially compete with the NFL, and at the end of the season it was gone, thus ending Draper's remarkable football career at the age of 25. In 1975, Dennis earned his bachelor's degree from Oregon State University and eventually took another job involving safety. Only this time it was in sales at a safety supply company where he's been ever since. He has stayed close to football by tailgating and attending every OSU home game for years, as well as contributing to their athletic fund. As a husband and father of 3, Denny's current passion is perhaps his oldest, farming the lands of which he was born and still lives on today. Farming these lands has been a family heritage since his grandparents before him, and Denny hopes to carry on that tradition for the rest of his days.
Right down the line, all these kids, they all had basically a lot of the same qualities. And that was, we're going to give you 110% every day that we see you. We're going to be on time. We're going to lead by example, with the exception of Terry, who talked a lot. And we're going to play to the very best of our abilities and hopefully get the other kids to play that well around us.
As you can see, they have been selected for a particular reason. And the reason is, number 1, they're good people. Number 2, they would rise to whatever level they had to rise to be successful. Each one of those people that you have named have just been outstanding people that came from outstanding families, and that's where it lies. It starts and it finishes at that point.